Hi everyone, Anthony Fantano here, the internet's busiest music nerd, here with you for another episode of Patreon Only Let's Argue. It's exclusive. Oh my gosh. Thank you for coming through here and supporting us on our Patreon page. It is greatly, greatly appreciated. And we show that appreciation by delivering you this hot, sexy content. Fantano uncensored. Oh, all right, let's get into your hot takes. I'm gonna chew them up like hot cakes. If you had to guess, who do you think will be the next person you give a 10 to? Shit, there's so many different possibilities. Maybe Clipping, maybe Ice Age, maybe JPEG Mafia, maybe Liturgy, maybe Janelle Monáe. It's weird to sort of answer this question because I think the first place ones, or at least my mind goes to, is artists that I really have loved in the past. You know what I mean? And have put out records that I think are fantastic in the past. And so why wouldn't they make a 10, you know? But when I look back on all the 10s that I gave, I wasn't really anticipating necessarily for me to give any of those artists a 10 at the time that I did. You know, I wasn't sitting there thinking oh yeah, next record's definitely gonna be a 10. I mean, that certainly wasn't the case when I gave my first 10, you know what I mean? Because there was no precedent for it yet at that point. Again, I think it's really easy to sort of just list off a bunch of artists that have come close in a way. But most likely it's going to end up being a surprise. Sonic Youth are really fucking boring. What I'll say about Sonic Youth is that quite a good band, good catalog as well. But you know, if you're in the market for some noise rock, they're not the most visceral, you know, wild, out of control noise rock band in the world. You know what I mean? They're more like the thinking man's noise rock band. It's not like I'm gonna go I'm gonna bust out wild and sweaty and that sort of shit. I'm gonna have an emotional breakdown, daughters, you won't get what you want type of noise rock. It's more of yeah, I read Chomsky. It's that kind of noise rock, which that's cool. That's cool. There needs to be room for some heady cerebral noise rock, and Sonic Youth is kind of it. Currents is almost 6 years old, but the production is still way ahead of so many albums that have come out since. Yeah, I mean, I guess the record still sounds very pretty, but does it sound ahead of the curve or anything? Not necessarily. What is it ahead of? Is it predictive of something? Personally, I feel like a lot of the sounds and aesthetics that Kevin plays with feel like they're more of the past than they are of the future, which isn't inherently a bad thing, but I fail to see what's so, ahead of its time about the record, because so much of Tame Impala's music, even pre-Currents, I think is based on almost like a familiarity, like nostalgia. "2020 was a horrible time to revive disco and dance pop, given we were all in our homes for the year." I suppose in one sense it certainly is. And then in another sense, I feel like this year a lot of people were just looking for nostalgia. I'm not entirely against, the idea of this revival sort of coming back here, because I think people maybe needed familiarity a little bit this year, needed something to anchor themselves to that felt like it came from a place where things made sense, or slightly more sense than they do now. And you know what? If disco and dance pop was that, then disco and dance pop was that. Is there any method you use for picking which albums get displayed on the red shelf behind you in your reviews? Not a consistent one. I have picked those records on the shelves for a myriad of reasons, because maybe stylistically they're similar to the record I'm reviewing. Sometimes I've picked the records on the shelf because they match my shirt, or they match the color scheme of the cover art of the record I'm reviewing. Or I've picked random records because I'm lazy and I feel like there just needs to be a change. And a lot of the time, I won't even change them. I won't even change them. And I probably should change them more. 2021 resolution here, change the album covers more. Despite being just a side project, which I don't really view it to be at this point. Honestly, the Voids are truly one of the most creative bands in rock music right now. I agree. Whatever they have coming up in 2021, 2022 is going to be crazy, especially considering their latest single. You know, I need to listen to it again, but I don't think I was too crazy about the new single, at least at the time of shooting this video. But undoubtedly, I don't disagree. I think the Voids are pretty creative. Super daring and out there band. I think they're a group that at this point doesn't really have anything to lose, and you know, Julian's kind of keeping the whole thing afloat, and I think Julian creatively can just kind of do what he pleases at this point, and it seems kind of like the Voids is that space for him to do that. So hell yeah, keep on pushing, I guess. Though he's released fairly consistently decent stuff over his career so far, James Blake has never done it better than he did on the self-titled album and early EPs. And he never will. Wow. Fuck. You know, I feel like that's a pretty easy statement to make, considering just how short some of James' output has fallen in comparison with his early stuff. Some of his stuff. I mean, I think his sophomore record is still a very good LP. That being said, though, James, in my opinion, is just like too talented. He's just too talented. He's too talented, and he's too creative to totally like count out in that way. Maybe some of his records could use some trimming or maybe a stronger sense of direction or something, but honestly, like there's too much going for James to just be like, oh, he's never gonna outdo his like early stuff, because honestly, it's not like those early records were perfect anyway. They're very good, but you know, it's not like they're so flawless that they can't be touched or they can't be outdone. I think they could very much be outdone by James. Soulja Boy is a better streamer than he is a rapper. Soulja Boy's really always been a style and personality over substance. And he's never been the most proficient rapper in the world anyway, so the idea of him being a better streamer than he is a rapper isn't really all that odd. It's not a hot take. And that's not to say that he didn't have good ideas and that, you know, he isn't influential in his own right. He most definitely is. But, you know, it's not the same thing as saying, like, Eminem's a better or more successful streamer than he is a rapper. If Eminem were to become a more successful streamer or a better streamer than he is a rapper, he would need to become a god-fucking-tier streamer.
Big shout out to the needle drop, man. You know what's going on.
Such as Phoebe Bridgers accomplished this past year, 2021 will show Wiseblood emerging as Indie Darling of the Year. You think so? Haley, you think so? That could be interesting. I mean, Wiseblood certainly has the talent and the ability, and Titanic is an incredible record, amazing record. But, you know, with Phoebe Bridgers, I think part of her rise over the past year has also been, you know, the fact that she's new to so many people. I feel like she had the debut and then like really smashed with the sophomore record, and has kind of really introduced herself in a big way to a newer audience on this latest LP. I think a lot of people are sort of like, you know, familiar with Wiseblood in the indie scene. You know what I mean? It's kind of hard to sort of see her having that fresh new face excitement in the same way that Phoebe has over the past year, because I think people, you know, have seen her have her moment in a way. Now, that's not to say that, you know, Wiseblood couldn't get more popular. I think she certainly could. And certainly I look forward to that, because I think her output as of late has been fantastic. But, you know, let's not sort of ignore the fact that, you know, there is a bit of a buzz band quality to, you know, Phoebe's rise over the past year, and Wiseblood is not a new artist per se. You know, she's been doing this for a long time, and Phoebe's been doing it for a while too. But Wiseblood's catalog is definitely a little bit thicker. Music is not rap. I guess if you want to say that, I respect your right to say it, but I don't know what it means, and I do not care. Bro, is your fucking avatar Dora the Explorer with a fucking shotgun? Okay. Who do you want to see on Song Machine Season 2? That's a good question. Maybe TK Mides. I think it would also be cool with David Diggs. Rina Sawayama would be interesting. Why not Julian Casablancas? Get Julian Casablancas on a track. Get him on a track. And get also Moses Sumney. Get Moses fucking Sumney on a track, Song Machine Season 2, please. And also, finally, on Song Machine Season 2, I think I would love to see Sir Thomas of York. Bring back Del the Funky Homo Sapien as well. I think that should be done too. That would be dope.
Finally, someone let me out of my cage. That time for me is nothing cause I'm counting no A's. Now I couldn't be there. Now you shouldn't be scared.
Again, this has been a Patreon Let's Argue episode exclusive. Thank you very much for just being over here and supporting what we do on the Patreon platform. You are loved, you are respected, and you are appreciated by yours truly, Austin, and in the whole TND team. And yeah, mwah. Have a good one. And I'll see you next episode. Anthony Fantano, forever.